Good morning. In the yesterday's class, we were discussing about the Class A amplifier with the fixed bias, and let us continue that today. We had seen the voltage divided bias circuit with the Class A operation in the earlier examples. And now in the present example, you don't have that emitter resistor here, and you don't have two resistors at the base. So let us see how this particular biasing arrangement is going to cause a difference in our analysis. So as I was discussing yesterday, the maximum output voltage at the collector of this transistor is VCC by 2 root 2, because we are going to consider the RMS value for this AC analysis, and VPP is basically 0 to VCC. So the RMS value is VP by root 2 or VPP divided by 2 root 2, that is nothing but VCC divided by 2 root 2. So this is the maximum output voltage. Now the maximum output current is the maximum output voltage divided by the load resistance. Here, as the additional load is not given, we have to take the collector resistor itself as the load. Now when we take collector resistor itself as the load, the maximum output current is VCC divided by 2 root 2, and at the denominator itself that RC is going to come. So maximum power is nothing but maximum voltage into maximum current at the output. So we multiply that V0 and I0, we get VCC squared divided by 2 root 2 into 2 root 2 gets multiplied and becomes 8. So the maximum output power in the case of this particular circuit is VCC squared divided by 8 RC. Now maximum input voltage here in terms of DC, because we have to find out the efficiency. So maximum input voltage here in terms of DC is going to be VCC, and the maximum current is going to be VCC divided by 2 RC. Why? Because the quiescent point is at VCC by 2. When we bias this circuit, the quiescent operation is at middle of the load line, so it is VCC by 2. So VCC by 2 divided by RC is VCC by 2 RC. So now the maximum input power for this circuit in terms of DC is, again, multiply those two. Input voltage is in terms of DC is VCC itself, and we have found out the maximum current, so it is VCC squared divided by 2 RC. That is the maximum input power in terms of DC. Please understand, we are doing this for the calculation of efficiency and not for the calculation of power gain. If you have to calculate the power gain, we will have to take the input AC signals power. But here we are supplying DC power to the circuit and we are measuring the AC power at the output. So now the maximum efficiency is what? P0 AC divided by Pi DC. You already have both the expressions here. You have maximum P0 AC here, and we have maximum Pi DC here. So what is the maximum efficiency in this case? It is evident directly here. That is going to be 2 by 8. Because AC by DC, output power by input power, AC power by DC power, that is VCC square gets cancelled, RC gets cancelled. The one it is at the denominator, that goes to the numerator there, because it is 1 by 2. So it is 1 by 8 divided by 1 by 2 is basically 2 by 8. So efficiency is 2 by 8 is 1 by 4 is 25%. Which means in the case of fixed bias circuit, Class A amplifier, without the load and considering the collector resistor itself as the load, the efficiency can be maximum 25% only. We had seen even in voltage divider bias yesterday that the efficiency was really very less. It was around 3%. Now here we can see the maximum efficiency in the case of the fixed bias itself is 25%. It cannot be more than that. That is why I showed you one tabular column in the beginning of this module, and I had shown you that the efficiency in the case of a class A amplifier can be 25 to 50%, not more than that. Now in the case of the fixed bias, the amplifier efficiency is only 25% maximum. Let us have an exercise. I have been showing you different funny or humorous slides only to have an enthusiasm, nothing else. I have been showing you different types of exercises earlier. Now you see a particular GIF which I am showing to you. There, the aspirant is exercising, along with him the pet dog is also exercising. It is such a beautiful inspiration actually. Daily we will have to have a physical exercise so as to have a fitness. Especially in this winter season, we have to take care of body in a well manner. Winter season as well as cyclone is being disturbing. We cannot say it is disturbing, it is a natural occurrence. We will have to adjust ourselves to nature's calamities. So daily morning, we should keep doing the exercises in our own way, so as to keep the body fit, so as to make the blood flow to the complete body and to keep our body fit and fine. So you can see now, along with the aspirant, even the dog is exercising. I feel it's a beautiful inspiration for all of you as such. Now, let us actually do our exercise. Our exercise is basically a mental exercise in engineering. Electronics is mostly mental exercise. In most of our electronics and communication applications, we use our brain heavily, we use our knowledge and intelligence heavily to solve the engineering problems. So now proceeding with this exercise for today. This is the fourth exercise in this module now. Calculate the efficiency of the amplifier circuit for an input voltage that results in a base current of 10 milliampere peak. Now, we will have to apply whatever we learned in the previous slide for this particular exercise. You can see the RB value given is 1 kilo ohms, RC value given is 20 ohms, beta is 25 and VCC is 20 volts. Now he is asking calculate the efficiency of amplifier circuit for an input voltage that results in a base current of 10 milliampere peak. So let us try to solve this. The solution is, let us find the base current, quiescent current. You have to visualize the circuit now. You are already familiar with the fixed bias or base bias circuitry. So the value given there was 1 kilo ohms. So 20 volts VCC minus VBE, 20 minus 0.7 divided by 1K is 19.3 milliamps. And ICQ is now IBQ into beta, 19.3 milliamps into 25, that is 482.5 milliamps. So now input DC current in this case is 20 into 19.3 plus 482.5. Let us consider both IB and IC because we cannot ignore the base current in power amplifiers as such. In the first module we had seen the base current used to be always in microampere. But now in the last module the base current is in milliamperes. We cannot ignore. So let us consider that current also. So 19.3 milliamps plus 482.5 milliamps into the supply voltage VCC is going to be around 10.036 watts. This is the DC input power to the circuit. Now let us see the AC output power because he has given us the peak input current. So now IC RMS is 10 milliampere into 25 divided by root 2. He has given us 10 milliampere and beta is given 25. Input maximum current was given 10 milliampere. So naturally output maximum current is IB RMS into beta, because beta is almost the same for both AC as well as DC analysis as such. We have seen that earlier also. So 10 milliampere into 25 divided by root 2. Why? Because he has told us it is 10 milliampere is the peak current. We are always measuring the RMS power. RMS is equivalent to DC, that we had seen yesterday. So ICRMS is 177 milliampere. Now we have found out the output current. Let us find out the output voltage. P0 AC, we need not find out the output voltage. Once we know the current, once we know the load, output is nothing but I squared into R. P is equal to V into I, but V is equal to I into R. So P is equal to I squared into R. So 177 milliampere squared into the collector resistance is 20 ohms there. So it is 626.58 milliwatt. Now efficiency is 626.58 milliwatt divided by 10.036 watts. Efficiency is only 6.24% here. Maximum efficiency which can have with the fixed bias is 25%. Now this actual efficiency for this given exercise is only 6.24%, which means with class A amplifier we get faithful amplification, but with class A amplifier we do not get efficiency. We supply large amount of DC power to the circuit, but the AC power which we get is a small percentage of the DC power. Now in this example, as it is only 6%, remaining 94% power is simply wasted as heat. You already know that energy can neither be produced nor be destroyed, it can only be transformed. Now in this case, when we supply 10 watts of power to the circuit, we get the output of only 0.6 watt, right? Approximately 0.6 watt. We supply approximately 10 watts and we get output as only 0.6 watt. What happened to the remaining 9.4 watts? That 9.4 watts simply gets converted into heat, and that's the wastage of power. Not only that, that heat is going to affect the life of the components which we are going to use, especially the transistor. So transistor is going to heat up heavily because 94% is not available at the output. 94% is dissipated in the circuit itself. So for this particular transistor which we are using, we should have an effective heat sink so that it will easily dissipate all the heat into the atmosphere. Otherwise, the life of the transistor is going to be drastically reduced. And as such, in high power applications, even the devices are expensive. The transistors are not very expensive in the low power applications, but in the high power application they are expensive because they are of larger size. But in class A, we have no other option. Why? Because we want to have a faithful amplification, especially in audio amplifier applications. For example, in music concerts or in public addressing functions, we need faithful amplification only. Whatever the speaker is speaking, the complete waveform of the speech must be available at the loudspeakers. So that way we have to go with class A amplifier only. But we should be ready to compromise on the efficiency itself. As I've been telling you, we don't get anything out of life always in perfection. If you have to get something, then we should be ready to lose something out. There is no perfection in nature, there is no perfection in life as well. So if you want to get 100% output along with its complete shape as a faithful amplification, you should be able to compromise on the efficiency now. That is the compromise we make in the class A operation. But later on in class B, class AB, class C, we are not going to have faithful amplification. There we will have better efficiency. But those amplifiers are not applicable for audio applications as such. They are applicable for some other applications. That I will tell you when we discuss those types. So this is the conclusion with the class A amplifier now. Now let us see in class A amplifier, if at all we have to increase efficiency, are there any methods that we, let us see that in the next slide. Now we are seeing a circuit which is a transformer coupled class A amplifier. It is the same fixed bias circuit, but that the output you do not have a collector resistor. Instead, you have a transformer. And the load is connected to the output of the transformer. Now this is a transformer coupled class A amplifier. There is an impedance transformation here because we can use transformer as a step down transformer or step up transformer. And when we use a transformer in that way, we have the advantages in some other ways. Let us see that later on. I had shown you in the beginning that there can be three types of coupling. One is called capacitive coupling, one is called inductive coupling, one is called direct coupling. Now in this case we are going for a transformer. This is basically an inductive coupling. With the inductive coupling also, it is a mutual inductive coupling when we use transformer. So let us see how this transformer coupling helps us in increasing the efficiency of the circuitry. Now if RL dash is the impedance seen at the primary side, please understand, let me annotate now. We have RL at the secondary side. So we can actually have a model, let me change the color. At the primary side, we can have the model of this RL as RL dash. Okay. So if RL dash is the impedance seen at the primary side corresponding to the impedance at the secondary side, then we will see what happens now. RL by RL dash is R2 by R1. See, RL by RL dash is R2 by R1. Now what is R2? V2 by I2. What is R1? V1 by I1. What is R2? R2 is the resistance of the secondary side's coil and R1 is the resistance of the primary side's coil. They are proportionate that way. We already have this R2 and RL in parallel. We are trying to find out RL dash corresponding to the input side. So it is R2 by R1. R2 is V2 by I2. V2 is the output at the secondary. V1 is the voltage at the primary of the transformer. So it is V2 by I2 by V1 by I1. Now it is nothing but V2 I1 divided by I2 V1. And it is nothing but V2 I1 by V1 I2. It is just rearranging of the terms. Now you can see V2 and V1 are corresponding to N2 and N1, the number of terms in the transformer. But I1 and I2 are corresponding to N2 and N1. You know that in the transformer, if it is a step-up transformer, N2 will be larger than N1. Correspondingly, voltage at the output will be larger than voltage at primary. But as resistance of the winding is fixed there, current will be inversely proportional there. When the number of windings are more, then voltage will be more, but at the same time resistance will be more and then current will be less. If the number of windings is less, then voltage across it will be less, but correspondingly as the resistance is less, current is going to be more. That is the relationship there. I hope you already studied about the working of the transformers in the first year of engineering itself when you studied basic electrical engineering. I hope you recall all the basics of the transformer. So now we rearrange all these terms. V2 I1 by I2 V1 is equal to V2 I1 by V1 I2. V2 by V1 corresponds to N2 by N1. Now I1 by I2 corresponds to again N2 by N1 because it is 1 over N1 by N2. So it is N2 into N2 divided by N1 into N1, that is N2 by N1 whole squared. Now this is the ratio between the impedance at the output and the impedance at the input. So we have a ratio here n2 by n1 whole squared, which basically means that impedance transformation is possible by choosing the turns ratio of the transformer accordingly. So now, thus when a step down transformer is used for signal coupling, the impedance seen at the primary side is larger than the load resistance and the value of IC gets reduced. We will have to use a step down transformer here, not a step up transformer for impedance transformation. When we use a step down transformer here for signal coupling, impedance seen at the primary side is larger than the load resistance and it is proportional to the square of the turns here, square of the ratio of the turns. Impedance seen at the primary side is larger than the load resistance. If RL dash has to be larger than RL, then N2 has to be smaller than N1. You can see this RL by RL dash is equal to N2 by N1 whole squared. So if N2 is smaller, N1 is larger, then RL dash is larger. We will have to use a step down transformer. Now the value of the collector current, dynamic collector current or AC current gets reduced because at the input side you will have a larger resistance. So this is the way in which we can actually increase the efficiency of the circuit. Let us see in the next slide how efficiency gets increased. So now RL dash is equal to alpha square into RL because it is now square. If we indicate this ratio now, we can say RL dash is equal to alpha squared into RL, where alpha squared is nothing but N1 by N2 whole squared. Here RL dash was in the denominator. We are trying to bring it to the numerator now, using a ratio called alpha. Now alpha is the turns ratio, N1 by N2. When alpha is N1 by N2, we generally say turns ratio 1:10 means 1 by 10. 1:10 means primary side 1 turn, secondary side 10 turns, that way. So here it is 1:10 is nothing but 1 by 10. Same way, N1 by N2 is N1:N2. So that way N1 by N2 is the turns ratio. We know that it is N1 by N2 whole squared into RL or alpha squared into RL. Now if you want to have RL dash more, then we have to have N1 by N2 more than unity. When we want to have N1 by N2 more by unity, that definitely means it is a step down transformer, right? N1 is larger, N2 is smaller. It's a step down transformer. Only when this alpha is more than unity, alpha square will be larger and alpha square and the RL will also be larger than RL. That way we want to have a larger resistance at the input side, seemingly at the primary of the transformer, so that collector current gets reduced and efficiency gets increased. We will see that in the next slide about the calculations part. Now again, one more exercise. You may think I am crazy, but I am putting all these slides only to remind you again about the necessity of physical exercise on a daily basis to keep the body healthy and fit. Especially in this time of pandemic, if you keep on doing physical exercise on a daily basis, you will keep your body warm. If you keep your body warm, germs will not have any chance to multiply inside your body. If warm blood keeps flowing throughout your body, then the warm blood is going to carry oxygen wherever it goes. And you already know that oxygen along with the glucose is going to produce calories. And oxygen is going to burn out the glucose to produce calories. And that is how your body will have enough energy. As I feel that a teacher has to be a holistic teacher, teacher should not teach only technology or engineering or science. Teacher has to teach something about life as well, something about health as well. As I am a health aspirant and even I practice exercises on a daily basis, I keep advising to people also, even to my colleagues, even to my friends, even to my students. I keep on telling the good things which I have been getting out of my practices. So I practice yoga. If you practice yoga also, it is very good for you. Otherwise, I have put you both options here. At the left side, there are gym exercises. Actually, in our campus, we have an indoor gym also, we have an outdoor gym also. You already know about it. Now, you can use, when you come back to the campus, you can use the facilities which are there at the college also. We have an outdoor gym also, we have many equipments there, and we have indoor gym also. You can use a lot of props or equipments to keep yourself fit. That is one option. Next option is, if you are at home now, then you can easily practice all these yogic exercises also without the help of any other equipments or props. So both way you have the options. Now, this is one slide which I am showing you. There are varieties of exercises for you for keeping yourself physically fit. There are varieties of exercises that are available. The only thing that is lacking is what? The attitude. The only thing that is lacking is the attitude. The attitude, the positive attitude towards life, the attitude towards learning, the attitude towards practicing lifelong. I keep telling to the other students who are seniors, there are three things in life: knowledge, skill, and attitude. Knowledge is the theoretical part, skill is the practical part, but attitude is your own part. We cannot imbibe attitude into anybody. We can give you theoretical knowledge by means of the theory classes. We can give you practical knowledge by means of the laboratory classes. So that way we can imbibe knowledge and skill into you, provided you already should have that learning attitude. If it is not there, then we cannot help you further. As they say in philosophical terms that only the horse can be dragged till water, but horse cannot be made to drink water. Horse itself has to decide to drink water. So that attitude is very important. Learning aptitude, positive attitude is very important. And finally, knowledge, skill, and attitude, all three together is going to be an aptitude or your ability to live a quality life, a virtuous life. So that was my intention of showing you all these slides with exercises. Now let me discuss the exercise which is meant for our class. Fifth exercise in this module. Ours is anyhow a mental exercise now in the theory classes. So for the fixed bias transformer coupled class A amplifier, if the load is a speaker of resistance 16 ohms, you will have to visualize a speaker at the output. We are going to discuss about audio amplifier, class A amplifier. So load can be a speaker now, speaker of resistance 16 ohms. As you already know, a loudspeaker is basically what? A loudspeaker is basically a diaphragm. At times it can be a paper, the paper coated with carbon, and to the paper a coil is attached. And now the coil will have its own resistance. Whenever AC current flows through the coil will make the paper to vibrate, and when the paper vibrates, sound is produced. It can be a paper, it can be a thin diaphragm, it can be a thick diaphragm also if the output power is in kilowatts, because it has to withstand large amount of power there. All those black loudspeaker boxes which you are seeing, they are basically having a coil at the middle, and around the coil you will see a black colored diaphragm. That diaphragm is the one which is going to vibrate a lot, and then it vibrates, you are going to listen to the sound. In any musical concert, in any musical show, you can actually go near the loudspeaker and you can actually watch it vibrating. And let us say in a very big audio function, maybe in a DJ show or in a musical concert. If you stand near the loudspeaker, you can feel as if your body is also vibrating, because the loudspeaker is pumping that much of power into the air and the continuous air column is vibrating. Actually, the complete air column is going to vibrate and audience will be inside this air column. So at times you can see even your body vibrating, because it is basically a resonance happening there. So I am telling you all these things only to visualize how electrical power is converted into acoustic power by means of the loudspeakers, because we are dealing with audio power amplifiers now. So if the load is a speaker of resistance 16 ohms, find the turns ratio of the transformer such that the effective primary resistance is 10 kilo ohms. Now we have to use the previous derivation which we did for solving this exercise. We have to find out the turns ratio. Effective primary resistance has to be 10 kilo ohms now. You can see the output is 16 ohms, whereas at the input we want to have 10 kilo ohms, so that the collector current is reduced. When the collector current is reduced, actually the power also is going to be reduced, right? When the collector current is reduced, power is anyhow going to be reduced, so efficiency is going to be increased. Now the next part is find the value of AC current when VCC is 12 volts. Let us solve this exercise, which is quite simple. Solution, we have to find out the alpha now. N1 by N2 is square root of 10k by 16 as per our previous derivation. It is primary resistance is 10 kilo ohms, secondary resistance is 16 ohms. So it is R1 by R2, its square root, because there was the term of N1 by N2 whole squared. So N1 by N2 is supposed to be now 25. Means if N1 is 10 turns, N2 is supposed to be 250 turns. Am I right? Am I right? No. N1 by N2 is 25 means N1 is 25 times larger than N2. So if N2 is 10 turns, N1 is supposed to be 250 turns. It is 250 is to 10 or 25 is to 1. That is the turns ratio, because it is a step down transformer. Then the maximum current, or not the maximum current, the value of the AC current when VCC is 12 volts. IC is VCEQ divided by RL dash. Now VCEQ in this case is what? It is an inductor there, right? I'll go to the previous slide. You can see here, there is no collector resistance. It's an inductor here. Inductor passes DC fully, right? When we discuss that resistance, it is in the AC term. But in the DC term, XL is 2 pi FL. When F is 0, XL is 0. So it's an inductor which passes DC completely. So the collector will be at VCC itself in the quiescent conditions also. Only when the AC is applied, we will have the amplification at the output. Now that is what is happening with the inductive coupling there, or transformer coupling there. So the DC voltage here, the quiescent voltage is not VCC by 2, as you have been seeing in our earlier circuits. In our earlier circuits, we used to have a collector resistor. Here it is not so. It is not VCC by 2. It is VCC itself because of the inductor. So let me show you the answer. IC is VCEQ by RL dash. VCEQ is nothing but VCC. VCC by RL dash, that is 12 volts divided by RL dash is now 10 kilo ohms. So the collector current is 1.2 milliamperes. Let us see the efficiency calculations now from the characteristic curves. We have this, I am putting all these equations in the lower case purposefully because we are dealing with the AC now. So VCE peak to peak is VCE maximum minus VCE minimum. Now for this transformer coupled amplifier, we should have a slightly different approach for calculating the efficiency. So VCE peak to peak, output voltage peak to peak is now VCE maximum minus VCE minimum. We have to find out VCE maximum and VCE minimum. Similarly, collector current peak to peak is collector current maximum minus collector current minimum in terms of AC. Output power AC is VCE maximum minus VCE minimum into IC maximum minus IC minimum divided by 8. Why this divided by 8 come into picture? You already know 2 root 2 into 2 root 2 is going to be 8. We have to calculate the RMS output power, whereas the voltage and current which we expressed is peak to peak. Naturally, that term 8 comes at the denominator. It is nothing but VC peak to peak into IC peak to peak and take its RMS value, divide by 2 root 2 and divide by 2 root 2. When you multiply them at the denominator, it will become 8. So this is the output power that is available with the transformer coupled circuit. My dear students, you will have to work out all these things again and again so as to remember these things. Whatever I have been discussing till now, these are some definite questions even for the test, even for the examination. So one thing is you will have to understand these things. Other thing is you will have to practice and you will have to remember these things. We have seen the voltage divider bias circuitry, we have seen the fixed bias circuitry, now we are seeing the transformer coupled circuitry. All these three circuitry have different types of analysis. We are dealing with the class A amplifier only as of now. Later on we will be going faster because in class B and class C we will not have these many varieties. And moreover, in class B and class C we are not worried about the faithful amplification. We are only worried about the efficiency there. So that way the different types of circuits which we have here and the different types of analysis which we have here will not be having there in class B and class C. Of course, there are varieties even in class B and in class EAB, but we are not going for a detailed analysis there because it is not required there, as it is not a faithful amplification. So students, you will have to work out all these things again and again so as to remember these things. Now to continue, the output power in terms of AC for this transformer coupled amplifier is VCE max minus VCE min into IC max minus IC min divided by 8. And input DC power is what? VCC into ICQ. As I told you, it is the DC power supplied VCC itself. It is not VCEQ in this case. And we have already have the quiescent current for the circuit. So it is VCC into ICQ. Now the maximum theoretical efficiency can be up to 50% in this case. We had seen in the fixed bias circuit, it was only maximum 25%. In the transformer coupled amplifier, it can be up to 50%. And it is given by efficiency percentage is 50 into VCE max minus VCE min divided by VCE max plus VCE min whole squared and its percentage. Now using these two only, P0 by Pi is going to be VCE max minus VCE min divided by VCE max plus VCE min whole squared, and that is into 50 in terms of percent. The power dissipated by the transistor is PQ is equal to PIDC minus P0 AC. You already know that PIDC and you know this P0 AC. Now, in an exercise, VCE max also will be given, VCE min also will be given because it is transformer coupled, and at the output you will never have DC. Please understand, at the output you will never have DC because it is transformer coupled. Transformer is going to work only with AC because it is a mutual inductive principle. As the output, at the output as DC is not at all available, in the exercise maximum VC will be provided, minimum VC will be provided. All these values will be provided. Based on that, you will have to find out the efficiency. And the power dissipated by the transistor now is quiescent power is equal to PIDC minus P0 AC. We will have the last exercise now for this transformer coupled amplifier. Now, I am showing you a slide of a wonderful lady who passed away last year. She was a national award winner for teaching yoga at the age of 98 and 99. Her name was Nanammal. Now you can see she is practicing one particular exercise called Halasana. At the age of 98 and 99, you can imagine how fit she was till her death. Now that is the power of yogic exercises. Yogic exercises will keep your body flexible. Easeful body and peaceful mind will be useful. So to have an easeful body, if you practice yoga asanas, you will keep your body much flexible and easy to move around, easy to sit down, easy to stand up. At times I see there are some people who are unable to squat on the floor, who are unable to sit down on the floor. They always need sofa sets or chairs or furnitures. But if you keep practicing yoga asanas, you can keep your body flexible that way. Of course, the gymnasium exercises also are going to be helpful. But all the exercises that you practice at the gymnasium, they may not be making your body flexible. Many times in the exercises of gymnasium, it is basically for building up the muscles at times. In the young age, people want to build their muscles. But if you build the muscles, muscles will become strong at your arms, maybe, but at your ribs, there may be a six-pack. At your abdomen, there can be six-packs. But what about the flexibility of the body? With some of these physical exercises, body can become tough and rigid and flexibility can be lost, especially with the wrestlers and with some sportsmen. Body will not be flexible as such, especially with the weightlifters. Body will become rigid and strong and tough, but flexibility is lost. That is the power of yogasanas. So we can appreciate Nanammal, who used to keep on teaching yoga also, practicing yoga also. And you can see this picture at the right side where she is demonstrating halasana for an audience. Now, let us go to our exercise, sixth exercise in this module. Calculate the efficiency of a transformer coupled class A amplifier for a supply of 12 volts and a peak output of 10 volts. Let me show you the previous slide. Efficiency is 15 to VC max minus VC min divided by VC max plus VC min whole squared. I have not put the proof of this derivation here because the proof of the derivation is really very lengthy and complex. But remember this formula, that is enough. If you want to see the proof of these derivations, you can always refer to the textbook. But I have purposefully avoided just to avoid very lengthy, cumbersome calculations. They are there in the textbook anyhow. So, using this formula, PQ is PIDC minus P0 AC. Using this formula, let us try to solve this problem now. Calculate the efficiency of a transformer coupled class A amplifier for a supply of 12 volts, peak output of 10 volts. Now, VCE max is VCEQ plus VP. See, VCEQ is 12 volts now. In the case of a transformer coupled amplifier, output can go beyond VCC also because it is now a mutual inductive principle. We are using the transformer, so output can go beyond VCC also, which was not the case with our previous circuits. Now VCE max is VCEQ plus VP. VP is given 10 volts. Peak voltage plus VCEQ is 22 volts. That is VCE max. Similarly, VCE min is VCEQ minus VP. Quiescent voltage is VCC itself in the case of transformer coupled amplifier. As I have shown you, DC is passed by the inductor. So VCQ minus VP is 12 minus 10 is 2 volts. Now we have VC max and VC min. We can substitute that in the formula to get the efficiency. Now the efficiency is 50 into 22 minus 2 divided by 22 plus 2. That is around 41.67%. Which means we have got much more efficiency compared to the fixed bias. In the fixed bias circuit, we got around 6% there. Now you can see around 42% efficiency we are getting. That way the transformer coupled class A amplifier is better than the resistive coupled or capacitive coupled amplifier. So with this, let me end today's class. See you in the next class. In the next class, we will be discussing the class B amplifier. With this slide, I am ending the class A amplifiers theoretical discussions along with the exercises. You keep exercising physically also, you keep exercising mentally also. In the sense, you keep your body also fit and fine and healthy. At the same time, you keep focusing on studies also and keep on solving these exercises on your own at home. With this message, let me stop today's class. See you in the next class. Take care and goodbye.